What's up everyone, it's Kelly and today I've got another nail polish 101 video for you. Now if you're not familiar, this is an ongoing series on my channel where I talk about the absolute basics of nail polish and nail care, and hopefully this is a good resource for people who are just getting into the hobby or maybe a refresher for people who have been a part of it for a long time. But today we are specifically talking about how to keep your nails healthy and strong. Now this is just going to be a talking video. I'm going to go over all of the tips that I have for how I maintain healthy, strong nails that don't break. Now this is my nail care maintenance, but I think that these are also really great habits to get into if you are suffering from weak or brittle nails, because it is going to help strengthen your nails over time. And a quick thank you to Modelones for sponsoring today's video. More about them in a bit. Quick disclaimer though, I am not a professional. These are just the tips that work for me, and I have had healthy, strong nails for over a decade now. Some of these are kind of obvious tips, some of them are maybe tips you haven't heard before, but yeah, let's just get into it. Okay, starting off with tip number one, possibly an obvious one, but don't peel off your nail polish. If you're peeling off your nail polish, you are damaging your nail plate. Nail polish removers exist for a reason. That is the healthiest way to remove your nail polish. Now this might be a bit of a controversial take, but I find that even peel off base coat can be damaging to my nail plate if I'm using it too often, especially if your nails are on the drier side. Even that peel off base coat can really grip onto your nail, and sometimes it can actually peel off the top layer of your nail. So use your peel off base coat sparingly, but your best bet is to use nail polish remover. And another tip I have is to use a strengthening nail polish remover. This Modelones Remove Plus is actually a great example of a nourishing remover that I've been using recently. This is an acetone based remover, so it does remove really difficult formulas like glitters or even gels, but it also has essential oils in it. So we've got jojoba oil and we've got grapeseed oil in here, and it also has lavender oil in it, which can help soothe any irritation from the acetone. So here you can see a little bit of that removal process, and I have to say this is a very gentle remover, especially for having acetone in it. A lot of times acetone based removers can make my skin look pretty dry, and I do have to wash and moisturize immediately after, but this one really is very gentle on your skin and nails. So especially if you're a person who likes to jump straight from one manicure to another, this is also a really great way to dehydrate your nail beds so that you can move into your next manicure without having oily nail plates that might make your manicure chip faster. And fun bonus about this one, it's actually scented, so it smells very lemony. If you're very sensitive to the smell of acetone, I feel like this is such a great solution to that. I've never had scented nail polish remover before, but this smells so good. Obviously you don't want to sniff your nail polish remover, that's not healthy, but you'll get a scent of it as you're using it, and it smells so good. So yes, this is a really great one. It comes with a regular cap that you can unscrew, but it also comes with this little pop cap, so you can just pour that onto your cotton ball. But if you are averse to acetone based removers, they actually also have this little nail polish remover pot. Basically it is just a little pot that is filled with nail polish remover and sponges. So you stick your finger in it and you rub it around, and then you pull your finger out and the nail polish is gone. And this is a non-acetone formula. It also has jojoba oil and glycerin in it, so it's nice and moisturizing. And if you noticed, the cap actually has a little sponge on it as well, and that you can use on your toes. But yeah, I always loved little remover pots like this. I think that they are such a game changer for removing glitter polish. Sometimes it can be such a pain to wait for your glitter nail polish to come off, but when you're just kind of wiggling your finger around in something like this, it kind of does all the work for you. I don't recommend using this type of pot if you're wearing a polish that tends to stain cuticles, because as you're moving your nail around, you might get that color into your cuticles. So I wouldn't use a pot like this for if you're wearing a red nail polish, for example, but I do find it especially good for glitter removal. But I honestly love the convenience of this. I just think it's so fun to use, but it's also really great. I don't know if you have this issue or if this is just a me thing, but sometimes when I am painting my nails, if I mess up one, but all of my other nails are painted, it's so inconvenient to figure out how to use a cotton ball to get that off of one nail without destroying my others. And I sometimes use tweezers for it, but this is so much easier because you don't have to actually touch any nail polish remover. You can just stick your one finger in and you can remove it that way. And by the way, all of these Model 1 products are available on Amazon, so I'm going to link them down in the description as well. Okay, on to my next tip for helping keep your nails healthy and strong. Be sure to moisturize and use cuticle oil very often. Moisturizing and using cuticle oil is actually extremely important because moisture loss is one of the biggest reasons that you can have brittle nails. You've probably noticed in the winter that your nails are a little bit weaker, they might feel a little bit more brittle and prone to breakage, and that's because usually in the winter you do have less moisture. A lot of that heat in your house can sometimes pull moisture out of your skin, so it's really important to moisturize, but don't neglect moisturizing in the summertime as well. As a person with a pool, I notice that my skin gets super dry after I've gone swimming. I get questions from people all the time on how often should I be using cuticle oil, how often should I be moisturizing, and my answer is honestly all the time. I keep cuticle oil in every single part of my house. I keep cuticle oil at my desk and I reapply it all day long. I keep it next to my bed. I have a bottle of cuticle oil in the living room so I can apply it when I'm watching TV. I keep it in the bathroom. I have some in my purse. I have cuticle oil everywhere and I apply it every time I look at my nails and notice that my cuticles look a little bit dry. And honestly, you don't have to be particularly picky with the brand of cuticle oil you're using. I use a lot of different brands. This is potentially embarrassing, but this is all the cuticle oil that I just have at my one desk. I have 5 different bottles and they're all different brands. And at my desk, I also actually have a giant refill bottle of Orly cuticle oil. So yeah, I use them all the time. It doesn't matter to me what type. This one I apply with a brush. This one is a little dropper. This one you roll onto your nails. I have the little pens. I've got a bunch of different ones. I will link some of my favorites down in the description. I'll link all the products that I'm talking about in today's video. But yes, cuticle oil often. Personally, my favorite cuticle oils are the ones that have vitamin E in them. I just find that that is what helps my nails feel the healthiest and the most moisturized. Jojoba oil is something that a lot of people look out for as well, and I think that's also really great for your skin and your nails. And a lot of brands also have scented ones, which is amazing. But yes, cuticle oil all the time. As far as moisturizing, I don't moisturize as often as I actually use cuticle oil because I find that cuticle oil can moisturize my skin as well. But I do keep moisturizer in the bathroom so that every time I go to the bathroom and wash my hands, I moisturize after, because washing your hands does kind of pull a lot of that moisture out. Also, of course, you want to make sure that you are moisturizing after you shower. Anytime your nails touch water, basically, you are pulling some of that moisture out of your skin, so you want to moisturize or use cuticle oil after that. Now, on that note, wear gloves. No, I'm not talking about like winter gloves. I am talking about kitchen gloves. When you are doing the dishes, I don't know if this is a Northeast thing, because I feel like everywhere I've lived outside of New Jersey, people do not do this, but in New Jersey, everybody wears kitchen gloves when they're doing the dishes. I personally like to do it. Well, I started doing it, I guess, because I don't like touching dirty dishes. So I feel like it's a little barrier for that, but I also do it because it protects my skin and nails from being exposed to water for a long time. But I feel like for some reason in other states, people don't do that. I don't know what they do in other countries, but for me, kitchen gloves are a must. I don't remember the last time I washed dishes without wearing kitchen gloves. Even if I'm just rinsing something or putting it in the dishwasher, I am using kitchen gloves because I do not want to expose my hands to more moisture than I need to. I also like to wear gloves when I am cleaning, especially if you're using harsh chemicals. Those can be very drying on your skin as well, and those can affect your cuticles and your nails. So I definitely recommend wearing gloves. Kitchen gloves are amazing. Can't live without them. I literally could not live without them. So if you're not using kitchen gloves, I highly recommend it. It will change your life. Honestly, even just for the cleanliness factor, it feels so good to wear kitchen gloves. So that is a big recommendation from me. Okay, my next tip for keeping your nails healthy and strong is to not clip them, but to file them instead. This is something I actually get a lot of pushback on from people because people do not love filing their nails, but clipping your nails is actually not very healthy for your nail strength. What you're doing with a nail clipper is you're actually flattening out the curve of your nail, and that over time can make your nail a little bit more prone to breakage because it does break down the strength of the nail. So I personally like to file them. I don't think it takes too long. I do file them every single week, which might sound excessive, but the more often you do it, the less time it takes to do. I will say I had a phase where I was not clipping my toenails either, and I was just filing them, but I think they actually got a little bit too strong, so now I do clip my toenails. But I actually don't love the way that clipped nails feel because they aren't as smooth as filed nails. I always find that I have to file my nails after I clip them, so I feel like I'm basically just skipping a step by not clipping my nails. As far as types of nail file, you do want to work with a relatively high grit nail file. Those classic nail files that you see that are that kind of orangey brown color that feel like sandpaper, those are a very very low grit nail file, and those are actually more meant to be used on gels and acrylics. I personally like to use glass nail files. I think that those work the best. I've talked about it before, but this brand, Manicure, it's an Amazon brand. I have had the same 5 nail files from them since 2014, and I still use the exact same ones. They just do not go bad ever. So you can basically just buy a lifetime supply by buying one nail file. Mooncat is another brand that I use their nail files a lot. They have really good quality ones as well. So yeah, 2 really great options. And another tip regarding nail files, a lot of people say to just file in one direction. I'm sure that that is better for your nail, but I personally do not do that. But if your nails are especially weak, it might be better to do that. I do file in both directions, and I find my nails are still fairly strong. Next tip for keeping your nails healthy and strong is to use a nail strengthener. Now, there are conflicting reports on whether or not you need to let your nails breathe, but there is no evidence to suggest that you do need to let your nails breathe or that you shouldn't have your nails painted at all times. I personally keep mine painted almost all the time, and I've never had an issue with it. There are some nail polishes that can dry out your nails and make them feel a little bit more brittle over time, but the solution to that is that you can just wear nail strengthener. And basically what that is a type of nourishing nail polish. There's usually different ingredients in them that help moisturize and protect your nail. You can use them as a base coat to a manicure, so skip your regular base coat, just use nail strengthener, and then you can apply your polish over it, or you can wear them on their own. A lot of times they are in very cute colors. I've actually been using these ones from Modelones recently. I've been using these for a little while now, and I have been really enjoying them. They are ridge filling, so if you have any ridges in your nail, it can smooth it out, which is perfect for if you want to use it as a base. They also have keratin, vitamin E, and jojoba oil in them, which really helps strengthen and moisturize your nails. And they also come in really cute colors. I'm actually wearing this one right now in 2 coats. This one is a light pink sheer that has a shimmer in it. They also have a light brown that has a shimmer in it, which is really beautiful. And then if you don't want to have any sort of shimmer on your nails, they also make this brightening one. So it looks really bright pink in the bottle, but it's actually more of just a very slight wash of color, which I think adds a little bit of a brightening element to it with this vibrance. So if your nails are slightly stained, these are great options, and you can definitely get away with wearing these on their own, and they're super cute for a manicure. Or like I said, you can wear them as a base to your manicure, and it'll be strengthening your nails while you have a cute color on as well. So yes, in my opinion, you never have to take a break from painting your nails. I would just recommend wearing a strengthener if your nails are feeling a little bit more brittle. There are also some nail polish brands that do have strengthening ingredients in their polishes. The Orly Breathable line comes to mind. They have a lot of really great ingredients, and you can wear those without a base coat, and those help strengthen your nails while you're wearing them. Okay, next up, we have a tip that might sound a little bit unrelated, but one of my biggest tips for helping keep your nails strong is to drink enough water. This is something that I never really connected in my mind to my nail care or even my skin care before I moved to the desert. I used to live in a pretty humid climate, but now I live in the middle of the desert in Las Vegas, and honestly, I thought that my nails were gonna get a lot more brittle living out here, but I have to say, my nails ended up getting a lot stronger, and the reason for that is because I have been drinking so much more water since I moved here. So obviously, drinking water is good for your skin, and of course that is good for your nails as well. It helps keep you hydrated and moisturized from the inside out. So if you're doing all of these tips and you're noticing that your nails are still a little bit on the weak side, consider upping your water intake. It might actually help. And another tip jumping off of that one is to eat healthy and make sure that you are getting a lot of nutrients and vitamins. I do definitely notice that my nails and skin feel healthier when I am eating healthy, specifically if I am eating nutrient-rich foods, if I'm eating a lot of salads, if I'm getting a lot of vitamin C and E, and supplements can work for that as well. Vitamin E is incredible for your nails. Supposedly, it can actually help prevent yellow nail syndrome, which is what causes your nails to turn yellow and potentially crack and peel. So vitamin E, very good for you. Also very good for your skin. Also, taking biotin or collagen as well, also very good for your nails and for your skin. I actually started this past year putting collagen in my matcha or my coffee every morning, and I have found that that has helped my nails grow really fast. Okay, and then my last tip for you is probably an obvious one, but try not to chew on your nails or use them as tools. I know nail biting is definitely a habit that's super hard to break. I do actually have a Nail Polish 101 video on how to break the habit, so I will link it up in the cards. You can check that out if you're interested. But not just chewing on your nails, using your nails as tools can also really break down the nail plate and cause them to be a little bit more brittle and prone to breakage. For example, if you're using your nails to like pick at your teeth or anything like that, especially with your saliva that can start to break down your nail. So keep a toothpick around, use floss. That kind of stuff is way better for your teeth anyway. If you're opening a can of soda, don't use your nail specifically to pop it open because that is going to cause a little bit of strain on your nail. I personally use my finger, like just the pad of my finger for that, which is a little bit harder, but you get used to it. They also make little tools that you can put, like you can even use a key to open your can of soda, that sort of thing. But yeah, just try not to use your nails as tools, especially if there are other tools available, because that can cause breakage. But yeah, so those are my major tips for how to keep your nails strong and healthy. Hopefully you found this video helpful. So if you did, please give it a like. That really helps me out. It lets me know I'm doing a good job. If you have any specific tips for how to strengthen your nails, leave them in the comments. We can chat about it, and hopefully some other people who are maybe new to this hobby can see your tips and learn from them. And if you enjoy my nail polish 101 videos, I would really appreciate if you could subscribe. If you have any requests for a specific nail polish 101 video that you want to see, let me know in the comments, and I will link my nail polish 101 playlist so you can check out all of my other videos on here as well. But yeah, huge thank you to my supporters on Patreon, my Royal Astronomer Amanda M, as well as my Cosmic Admirals Ken, Rosie, and Angel. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye. Oh my gosh, today's fun fact question comes from Patreon supporter Brooke J, and Brooke wants to know, if you could commit any crime and get away with it with no negative consequences and no one would be hurt by your actions, what would it be? That's a really tough one. I honestly, I don't think, maybe this sounds like a little goody-goody of me, but I have such a guilty conscience that I can't even do things that are frowned upon but not illegal. Like I don't know, I get so stressed out. If I was alone completely, like 4 in the morning, nobody's around, at an intersection, no cars are coming, and I need to make a turn or something, I need to go, but the light is red and it's been red for a while, even though there's nobody, I would still not go. That's actually a question that I ask people a lot just to kind of gauge where they're at. If anybody wants to answer that, let me know in the comments. But yeah, I personally would not do it. I can't think of a thing that I would do even if I could get away with it. I guess the only thing I can think of is I would, I don't know. I was gonna say I could sneak into a vacation, but then I would feel guilty because then I feel like the people who work there wouldn't get the pay that they deserve because of it. So I don't know. Oh my gosh. I promise I'm not trying to sound like a goody two-shoes. I just have too guilty of a conscience for that. Like I can't do it. I guess if I knew that nobody would get in trouble for it, I would try to get away with not getting upcharged for almond milk at a coffee shop, because I feel like, is it just me or is it getting outrageous for the price of getting a non-dairy milk in coffee shops these days? I feel like they're very expensive. Like you could pay an extra $1.50 just to get almond milk in your coffee. So maybe I would do that. I would put in my order with regular milk, and then when they're making it, I'd be like, oh, can you actually put almond milk or oat milk in there? And then see if they would do it. Even then, I feel like my heart would, I don't know. I don't think I could do it, but I guess that would be the thing that I would choose, because coffee is, that's why I don't even go to coffee shops that often, because it's so expensive now. So yeah, like a regular coffee ends up costing me like $7-8 because I have to get almond milk because I don't drink dairy. But if anybody wants to let me know what crime they would commit, let me know in the comments. We can chat about it, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye.